This is an official live stream of the CNCF and as such is subject to the CNCF Code of Conduct. Please do not add anything to the chat or questions that would be in violation of that Code of Conduct. Basically, please be respectful of all your fellow participants and presenters. And with that being said, welcome to Koob's Line Is It Anyway, the show where everything is made up and the points don't matter. That's right. The points are just like Docker Shim in Kubernetes 1.20.
That's the wrong show, Paul.
Wait, what?
We're doing a different kind of a spoof. It's not Whose Line Is It, but maybe we should do that one sometime.
And the survey says, boom, boom. Where's our sounds? We didn't have soundboard.
We were really professional. So welcome to CNCFaceOff. This is a new live stream game show, part of Cloud Native TV. We're really excited that you're here. What we're doing today is kind of introducing how it's going to work. So our very first episode with a game will be in 2 weeks, but we wanted to get some more folks to understand what we're doing, so we get you kind of hyped. And also, we still have room for teams to participate in this event. So this way, you kind of have a feel for what's going on. So let me tell you a little bit about CNC Face-Off. And it's a live stream game show, and it's very similar to Family Feud, as you might get an idea from Paul's background. But the questions and such are going to be connected around cloud native or tech type things. And this will be streaming live every Wednesday and on the CNCF TV schedule. And each of the seasons that we do, we're going to have 8 teams, maybe representing different projects in the CNCF landscape. And they're going to compete with each other in an ongoing bracket. And the final winner is crowned the champion. Now, the winning team is awarded a huge amount of bragging rights, as well as the coveted CNCF Face-Off Cup. And this, I want to share with you, is kind of our artist's rendering of what that cup might look like. So imagine yourself hoisting this triumphantly at KubeCon. Like, that could be your face if you are crowned champion there.
And of course, we have to spell cup with a K because it is Kubernetes.
Oh my God. How did I miss that? What, Paul, you are not helpful. Like, missed opportunity.
I did everything I could to prepare for this stream. I even brushed my teeth today, getting ready for this stream. So it's kind of important to me.
So, and the show will be hosted by myself and produced by Paul Zarkowski. That's Paul.
Hi.
Or wait, that's Paul. There we go. I had to figure out where to point.
There I am.
Now we're going to kind of talk a little bit about how this is going to work and realize that not everybody maybe is familiar. You know, we don't want to make assumptions that people are familiar with the game that we are inspired by. So that game, if you're not familiar, is known as Family Feud. So we're going to kind of do a clip here to kind of get a feel for what that looks like. And so this is an example of how Family Feud works. What will happen is we have surveyed so we get kind of the idea. And what's happening is you're trying to come up with what was the most popular answer that might have come up. In this case, what we will have done is we have surveyed across, in a very scientific manner, by the way. We have surveyed very scientifically developers, operations folks, practitioners, to see what their answers are to various survey questions. And they're not going to be what do dogs do at Yappy Hour, although maybe that was one. But for example, might be something like, what text editor do you use the most frequently? What's something someone would find installed on your phone? And each team, as we kind of saw in that example, and we're going to show a couple more to get kind of the feel, have to try to buzz in first to be able to guess what was the most popular answer. And then the teams move along and try to fill out the rest of the board with the rest of the top answers. If you suggest something that was not on the board, then you get that wonderful X sound and it moves along, and you'll kind of see how these things kind of move along. Now, what I think is interesting is that, it's Family Feud is a very popular American show, but it's not just American. It's it's very international. And for example, there's popular in Australia. So we can kind of see how the Australians do it, which is appropriate given that Paul is,
Australian.
Yeah. So we see that the answers come on the board and they have to guess what the most popular one was.
She did not look confident when she said what she just said.
So let's see if cake is. No, so you can see that's a fine example of, not getting it right. And, we will, because again, we're virtual, so we're not going to be standing in front of buzzers and being clever like that. But we have all sorts of ways that's going to happen. Now, before we kind of go into this a little bit, definitely, as I suggested, so the way we're playing is each team will be made up of 3 people. So you don't have to muster 4 people, which is the traditional team size for Family Feud. We've made it easier for you. So if you or a project you're associated with kind of say, like, we want to be on CNCFaceOff, like, how do you do it? That's a remarkably good question. And what you can do is if you, we've put together a resource here, and I'm going to put the link in the chat. But if you go to CNCFaceoff.tv/readme, shoot, sorry, that link is going to take you right back to the stream. Sorry, let me fix the link. I shouldn't type and talk at the same time. That'll explain a little bit more about it, kind of a lot of the stuff we're talking about now. But there's a link to a form that you can fill out to submit your team, or you can always email to Maddie at CNCFaceoff.tv and or hit me up on Twitter. But what would be great is, like, why would you do this? So why would someone want to muster a team for this show, do you think, Paul?
Well, I mean, bragging rights, because we all know that Kubernetes is all about bragging on ourselves. It's important to have that clout going, clout with a K. But I mean, otherwise, it's really just having some fun.
Plus the CNCF face-off.
Oh, and the cup, of course.
Yeah.
Imagine, like, being presented that cup at, like, the KubeCon, like, keynotes, and being able to say how amazing you are. Now, that's not a guarantee that you will be presented it at the KubeCon keynotes, but you
can imagine.
Matt knows some people, so he can make it work. He can make it happen. Hey, Pop, we'll just need to add that to the things we need to organize for LA.
That sounds fair. That sounds fair.
Yeah.
I think the other thing is, if you are part of a CNCF project, this is a really great way to get the word out about your project. Right. It's not just bragging rights for you, it's bragging rights for your project. And I know when I'm thinking about technology to adopt, the first thing I look at is, has that project been represented as the winner of an online game show?
Well, actually, I think the winner of this, the grand champion, will actually go immediately to be a CNCF project. Like, if they're incubating or sandbox, they'll be like,
instant
boom,
graduation.
Straight to graduation.
Yeah. No, I think we can make that happen. We're gonna get kicked off this show, like, after the first episode, with making these ridiculous claims.
It's fine.
We wanted to, and again, in the chat, if you have questions about how this is going to work, it's not super complicated. The biggest thing I want to share is, like, get hyped about it, because we have teams involved and stuff, but there's still slots available, and we want to make sure, especially, that it's not that that we're getting different folks involved with this. So, tell your friends, tell your people that will listen to you, and maybe get a couple of folks together, I think, is key. Now, again, part of this is to have fun, and one of the things that I think makes fun is that Family Feud is very popular in popular culture. So this is what I kind of feel like we could expect to see, something kind of like, eventually you might find yourself ending up on Saturday Night Live in the spoof they are going to do of CNCF Face-Off.
Are you sharing your audio? I don't hear it.
Did it not share the audio?
I don't think it shared the audio.
Oh. Well, I apologize. Let me fix that. Sorry, I am clearly a streaming professional. Yeah, you have to click the share audio every time, I think is what happens.
Yeah.
So, technology. And I think one of the things that's key about this is the host. The host is really what makes the show. I know I'm asking you to get hyped to be on the show, but really this is a platform for me to shine.
Well, I mean, you are kind of a big deal, and it's important to make sure that we're elevating you at every opportunity we can get.
I'm pretty sure that's why we the entire Cloud Native Foundation Twitch channel existed. But
Absolutely.
I will say I've got some there will be some fun host costumes, kind of maybe playing back to some of the more traditional, historic, classic Family Feud. That's about as much like classic Family Feud as I will go as a host, and I'm not going to talk anymore about that. We also really are hoping, like, so to keep in mind, like, I know some people have kind of told me when we brought this up and said, hey, you should be at, get a team together, do this. We're like, well, but do we have to know these things? And the thing is, it's not like you're going to be subjected to Kubernetes or cloud native trivia, and we're going to be asking you all these hard technical questions because
God how knows, boring would that be?
That would be boring.
No, I don't want to do that.
It would definitely not be funny. So really it's about how well can you think of what other people might say, or again, like perhaps maybe something that, maybe it doesn't always work out so well. So there's another one I kind of want to go take a look at. So let me take a look and see what's in the playlist here. What about this top one?
Wait, one second there. Is that Family Feud, or is that a Kubernetes KubeCon diversity panel?
I think that top one might be a diversity panel, but let's actually go to some of the more amusing things that happen when because people get under pressure, and you can find that they don't always necessarily kind of perform the way you would expect with what comes up. So we're expecting things along these lines.
You can never trust anyone who has a shower.
Never trust anyone who has a shower.
I'm thinking you die.
Apart from a foal, name a baby animal.
What's a baby lamb called?
Something you can get stuck in.
I've been stuck in a hole before.
We've all been there.
Yes, I mean, who hasn't?
Associate with China.
There's Egyptian.
Something that has a frame.
Chicken.
It's true.
Name an event at which people do a lot of kissing. The football. Name something you do to refresh.
Australian footballs is very different.
Yes, apparently. Those are very different rules.
A word that rhymes with Mark?
Slack.
Can you use it in a sentence? Holy flark. Name an item kids take to show and tell.
My son took a big crab in a bucket.
Really?
Crab or
a Christmas present
crab.
you'll find.
I think that Holy Flark is going to be the tagline of CNCF Face-Off, and maybe we can create some new technical profanities following the code of conduct, of course.
Of course.
Flark is definitely allowed within the code of conduct. I think we need to see the cup again. Because you got to remember what you're playing for. So especially if you're just tuning into the stream, I see there's some people have tuned in who missed the beginning. This is the artist's rendering, and the word artist is doing a lot of work in that statement of maybe to get some inspiration of what the coveted CNC Face-Off Cup would be. So imagine hoisting this above your head at CubeCon.
And there's your face right there.
Literally, that is your face. Like, imagine that. You know,
I
we're going to put Paul's face
it.
in there, but you know, that might have, you know.
Now, some interesting trivia on the cup here. I actually said that we should have a Kubernetes pot as the prize, but they didn't think that was a good idea. Apparently, it's gross to pour Kubernetes pods up your nose, but you know, whatever.
Also, we want to save some of the jokes for the contestants. You know, we can't overload everything when that comes in. So really, like I said, this is a little bit shorter, but we wanted to get everybody hyped. Don't forget to go to cncffaceoff.tv/readme. That's where you'll find the link to submit your team to be on an upcoming episode, to be in the bracket, so that you can challenge for that cup. And hang on one second. Paul, you talk about things for a second. I got to look something up.
Have we sufficiently hyped this? I feel like you and I are have been a hype machine. Like,
we are a hype
people
machine.
have got to be really excited after watching the two of us talking for 15 minutes now about this. I mean, I can't imagine not being excited after watching this.
And I hope everybody, you know, if you're not already following Cloud Native Federation, following us on Twitch, you know, smash that subscribe button. As I understand it, subscribe buttons cannot be clicked. They cannot be pressed. They must be smashed or mashed. You can mash it if you prefer. We have, I want to tell you about some of the other shows that are coming up this week. Tomorrow is Certs Magic, talking about all kinds of ways to get your certification on, because only one set of people can put champion of CNCF Face-Off on their resume, which of course makes you very hireable. But for everybody else, certification might be a different path to go down. So definitely tune into Certs Magic tomorrow.
And in fact, everybody that participates in the CNCF Face-Off will actually get a Kubernetes cert as part of playing along. And
also we've got LGTM is with Raw Code is happening on Friday, and I think it's going to be all about Container D, but you're gonna have to tune in to find out, really. And we've got Spotlight Live is also happening on Friday, and we've got a bunch of other fun shows happening next week. Always, we've got This Week in Cloud Native. I know one great show is Kat Cosgrove's Cloud Native Classroom, which, if you're like me and have to create a game show in order to be relevant in the Kubernetes community, it means maybe you need to learn some things. And so Kat's a great person to learn that stuff from. So definitely tune into that. And if you've mashed that subscribe button, you won't miss a thing. That's how mashing buttons.
That's how it works. Yeah.
And then, with that said, I just want to, thank everybody who joined us today. Please, again, cncffaceoff.tv/readme is going to take you where you need to go to share this, to get your teams going. But if you don't want to be on the show, that's cool. We want you to watch the show and come and be a part of it. So we hope to see you in 2 weeks with our premiere game. And it's going to have lots of bells and whistles, or at least a lot of buzzer noises, so. Again, I've been your host, Matt Stratton. You can find me at Matt Stratton on Twitter, and joining me is my producer and hype machine,
Paul Tchaikovsky. That's me, and that's One day, Maddie will learn how to pronounce my name, and it'll be pretty exciting.
Is Paul Zarmerkowski? Paul's Charcuterie.
That's it. You got it.
That's where we'll go. Well, thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you on the internets.